Well, yeah, I do need a screen share though. Yeah. My name is Shafe. We have an excellent, fantastic runner, enjoyer of salami and puns. We're gonna try and make this a pun terrific run for you guys as we go on. We're gonna be doing some Mega Man 11 here today. This is gonna be the any percent no out of bounds category, and we run this on normal mode for a couple of reasons. The most crucial of which is that we are going to be looking for a specific drop RNG, basically, and if we run on superhero, we only get bolts, so normal is the one that we go. Again, no out of bounds. And yeah, with that, I think, Ahmad, when you are ready to go, we can get after it.
All right, yeah. My name is indeed Ahmad. Shafi will do the commentary, as you might hear from this lovely voice of his. But yeah, let's go in 3, 2, 1, go. Stage is yours.
Alright, so we are going to be starting off with Impact Stage, aka the Pile Driver, and the reason that we do this is because it is the go fast skill of the game. It is effectively a dash that is also an attack, and gives us some iframes, and we can, if we get impact that kills an enemy, we can just go right through it. So we're going to just start off right here, and talk a little bit about the inputs for this game. We do have...
Uh-oh. What happened to Shafi? Oh no, did we lose him?
Hold on.
There we go.
I think we had a double audio issue, so I think we're just trying to navigate that real quick. There we go. Hopefully that's good. Alright, so as I was talking about for input mapping, we have a dedicated slide, a dedicated impact button. Two most crucial aspects that we have here as well, because sliding and of course impact are going to be our fastest movement. There's also a dev built-in rapid fire button, which you'll see a mod using throughout various different points, which is very nice because it deals a lot of damage in a very short time frame, as we are going to see on the first mini boss here. Mod is going to fire that charge shot, damage boost on through, get a shot in, and then jump and fire a bunch of rapid shots to melt the mini boss. Mini bosses basically will not exist in this game. We're going to delete them pretty quickly. Up here, we're going to take use of some iframes. We're going to take damage off that shot to get the coil and jump up and go through the spikes and skip a lot of that room. And we're going to see some, like I was talking about before, we're going to be managing drop RNG once we get impact, but we do need some bolts because we have, about, what is it, a year and a half ago, went from doing 4 weapon tank to buying an additional, I think it was 2 weapon tank actually, buying an additional 6 from roll, which happens after the 4th stage. We start with Rush Coil, speaking of 4 stages. And we get Rush Jet after stage number 4. And so we're going to be managing our ammo in a bunch of different aspects. Here we have Impact Man. We're going to do the charge shot, get a little bit of manipulation going on, because if he goes into his power gear phase, we will end up losing 50 seconds. So we're managing our shots here very carefully to try and avoid it, and yet just as that attack comes down, get the shot in, get the boss killed, and we are on our way. We do have our go fast ability, and we're going to be moving on through towards Tundra, because of course it's a Mega Man game, which means you need to have an ice stage. Thankfully, because of impact and because of sliding, we don't really have a whole lot to deal with in terms of the ice mechanics, thankfully. So we're just going to maneuver on through there. Important note that you're going to be seeing with Rush Coil is that if you want to switch back to just Buster, if you basically spawn Coil, which does not use energy until you actually jump on Rush's platform there, it will just automatically switch you back to the Buster. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that throughout the course of this run. And we, of course, hate going on ladders, so we try and Coil up them as much as possible. When we get Jet later, we'll be able to skip through some of those as well. Alright, getting what Ahmad's doing here with these charge shots and throwing some of these enemies en route, you can see him swapping over to impact real quickly after nailing some of these enemies with the regular buster. Is he's basically looking to try and refill that ammo as much as possible. Opportunity here to talk about the gears. Every boss has either a power gear or a speed gear phase, which does exactly what you would think it would do. It gives the boss extra damage or extra speed, but Mega Man has it as well. We will not be seeing speed used a whole lot unless we need to manipulate for cycles, just because the way that it functions for Mega Man is that it actually slows the screen down in order to give you some extra time to react. So we get a buster shot in here, walk up, do the rapid fire, impact through. What mini boss was there? None is the answer. Ahmad currently playing cold as ice. Very smooth gameplay here. And drop RNG, not quite amazing, but it's not too bad. Picking up that weapon tank here because we do use that for refueling our coil and our impact charges as much as possible. A lot of this game's routing and the execution of it is sort of on the fly with what sort of drops that you get, which makes it for a very interesting speed run that is already execution heavy. And thankfully we do get a large weapon refill right there coming out of that room into the terrifying room where pits are around and ready to kill you. And you got to jump through very carefully with this wind that wants to change directions and buffet us in different ways. Ahmad gets it through nice and clean. So on to Tundra. This is just basically 4 power shots. Pretty basic. It is intended to be one of the earlier bosses that you fight. I think Blockman is sort of like the dev-intended first boss, if you will, but we don't have the weaknesses for Tundra, so it's just kind of manipulating him into certain positions and making sure that he doesn't activate his gear phase and getting the power shots in there and knocking him down. So weapon switching in Torch and then specifically after Blast is going to really start picking up. You can see the weapon wheel popping up on the screen for Ahmad. That is tied to north, northeast, so on and so forth, all the way around, basically. So it's very intuitive, but also very difficult to execute at a high level to switch to the exact weapon that you want with just a flick of your stick. And Ahmad is doing an absolutely fantastic job. Torch was also sort of a bit of a nightmare stage for a lot of players casually, I think. See some of the iframes there from the impact through the fire of that enemy, because there's going to be 3 sections of firewall, there it is, that are going to be chasing Ahmad as he is going on through here, but he is a fast boy, so we're not going to worry about it too hard because things are starting to heat up here. And we're going to be impacting along through some of these rooms. There is going to be a weapon refill that he's going to just dovetail back for real quick, I believe after the second one. And you can just impact over the top of that platforming section, which is very nice. And another mini-boss, and it turns out if you just Tundra 3 times with the power, because the enemy is on off-screen, you can hit him twice before he even drops into the zone, and he is beleated. Alright, here's the weapon tank that I was talking about, so he's just going to turn back for real quick. There you go. And, yep, so Tundra is intended to freeze that firewall in a little bit of spaghetti. Ahmad's just going to play it safe because we are in a marathon setting, and does want to make sure he gets through that without getting a reset. Low on impact is unfortunate, but enough to just get across that gap. There's the weapon refill that we see. And we're going to be moving on now, and the boss is going to be coming up shortly. Torchman, we're going to, as with a lot of bosses, we're going to actually use a Power Tundra buffered ahead of the fight, because you can buffer your attacks heading into each boss fight. And Tundra is just a good source of damage. It's basically a full screen nuke when you use the power here on it, so it's a nice way to just get a free hit, and you're going to see that on virtually every boss fight that we see throughout here. So we're going to open up this fight with 2 Power Tundras, and then we're going to do a normal charge shot followed by a power charge shot. And, well, this is just a beautiful fight to watch, so we'll just let it go through.
And let me know when a good time would be to cut in.
You can interrupt me anytime you wish.
Okay, well, maybe I'll take a quick moment now while this wonderful dance is going down. Just wanted to mention, folks, we have just over 2 hours left to fulfill one of our incentives here for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Grab Majora's Mask blindfolded. We're just over halfway there, just shy of about $300 more needed to achieve that. So if you are wanting to donate to NAMI, now's the time. And thanks so much. Good work on that run so far, folks.
Thank you, thank you. Alright, so Blastman, this is where the weapon switching really starts to pick up, because we have Torch, and Torch, when you use power gear with it, is a nice horizontal, like it spans the entire horizontal section of the screen, and these fuses that are here, you're supposed to sort of navigate through the puzzle by destroying the fuses, which will trigger the boxes to explode, but if you have Torch, you can just set them on fire and blast your way through. And it's a very good weapon for basically clearing a path ahead of you, so that you don't have to worry about stopping to kill the enemies or any other obstacles that might be able to be destroyed by that. Oh hey, it's Tundra again, just absolutely murdering a mini-boss. Cool. A little bit of a refill here. You're supposed to basically burn all your impact coming into this, so that's not a big problem. And you just want to get a little bit of a refill for some navigation over top of this room. Switch up back to Tundra to get rid of that enemy. And then we're going to be dropping down. And we've got a coil placement here. We're sliding underneath. Just kind of a little nice optimization so that you can just jump right up and skip the ladder. After you head on through there, we impact over the entirety of this room. Get a big weapon refill there. That's nice. A couple extra Tundras to kill that enemy there. More impacting, and we're going to coil our way up this vertical shaft, trying to avoid some miners that are throwing their explosive charges at us, and we navigate it successfully and move on to Blastman. Tundra opener, as talked about previously, and 3 power buster shots, but you got to sort of time it very appropriately with the way Blastman jumps, and it looks like just super cool if you haven't seen this run before, with the way Mod distances himself and has to sort of time that shot with the horizontal travel. Very nicely done. And we end up moving on to Blockman after this. Blast, Torch, and Thunder are the 3 main weapons that we use throughout the course of this run. It's not that the other weapons don't have a function, it's just when we're talking speed, they just aren't as useful in a speedrun environment. Very useful casually, every single weapon in this game, but those are the 3 that we're going to be looking for the most part to use.
This is where the run really kicks in.
Yeah, as if it wasn't ridiculous already with its execution, this is where it gets bananas. So there's another torch to clear a path ahead of us, and do a little blast there to get rid of that enemy quite quickly. Pop up 1 torch, not a power gear, of course, because you want to save your energy, and if you got 1 enemy, don't got to worry about it. Blast us through to those blocks, power torch to clear that room, and then jump on up and navigate our way towards the block puzzles that probably gave a lot of people trouble casually. These blocks that fall down, and you're supposed to shoot them to destroy them. The bigger ones that are coming a little bit later on. Again, we pre-fired that Tundra and blast when the mini-boss goes away. Mini-bosses are not really so much bosses or even mini, but you know, there you have it. But as it turns out, you can just blast the giant blocks that come down to try and make your blood boil a little bit, and you can just move on through. And here, because we have 4 bosses down, you can see the rush jet now being used by a mod. This is going to overtake Coil in a lot of different instances because it gives us both horizontal and vertical travel. And the execution on this is bananas with what a mod has to do between switching between the rush jet and the weapons and jumping and climbing onto another rush jet midair. Like, he makes it look easy, but this is also like a few hundred hours, if not into the thousands of practice. Much very good. Last 2 of these blocks down, and then traverse our way on through. Convenient large bolts there that we will be utilizing very shortly, because we're going to be buying a lot of weapon tanks to recharge all our various different tools that are at our disposal. And if you are a fan of Roll, I have to ask you whether or not you're sure about that. Alright, On to Blockman we go. This is something in the order of 15-second time loss as well if he ends up going to his gear phase. We're going to open with a Power Tundra and very cleverly manipulate this boss. We're going to throw 2 mines to blast him in the face, put more on the wall, get him to run over there and detonate them manually, and then boom, power charge to the face, and Blockman is no more. Hungry, if you want to jump in, this would be an excellent time.
We have no other donations for the moment, but I just wanted to say that I'm really enjoying this run, and I've never seen this game before, even casually, and it is just 100% mesmerizing to watch. So thank you so much for all of your work to get this to this point.
It is such an amazing game casually. I highly recommend grabbing it when you get a chance. Don't be perturbed by the difficulty level. You're going to die a lot, but it's okay. It's a lot of fun. So, lots of weapon tanks, as you saw there, and we're going to get some heavy use of jet to navigate these vertical columns here. Bounce Man, of course, the stage is filled with bouncy balls, as you would expect, and we don't worry about that a whole lot, just because you can rush jet through most of these ones. You can see the impact there along the bottom of the bounce balls there, just kind of as he gets onto the screen, avoids bouncing as a consequence of that. And we get our first refill up on this ladder, because ladders are slow, so we want to use a quick little jet there in order to be able to navigate past that. Probably the most complex mini-boss coming up. We are going to Power Impact, flip the frog, 1 power torch on the main power block, and then Power Blast for the finish. He was finished that fight before I even had to finish explaining it, and that's just how good a mod is it. Alright, so there is a skip coming up that a mod actually found, and I'm a huge fan of back boosts in video games, and the mod discovered one in the trampoline room that's coming up a little bit later here, and I'll just give him some time to focus on that after we go through this door into another mini-boss, and unfortunately the frog just doesn't exist. You can throw some mines at that wall just for memes, it's okay. Rush jet to skip intended mechanics because it's that powerful. Jump up for another weapon refill. And here's the trampoline. I'll let him focus.
Yes!
Very nicely done. That is so hard to do.
First time in marathon, by the way.
Yeah, first time. That's exactly how hard it is. First time in marathon. You got to turn around, fire coil to get the horizontal boost in order to get you far enough over the top, or under the platform rather, to jump up on top of it. So this is bounce. We do a power impact, a charge, and then another impact, and he is popped like the balloon that he is. Goodbye, bounce man. Coming up next, we've got Fuse. We haven't seen a whole lot in the way of cycles throughout the course of this run so far. Fuse is probably the heaviest cycle-based stage in the run. And Ahmad's going to have to basically kind of plan, maybe tap speed gear a couple times if necessary in order to be able to get the cycles that he wants. But overall, this is quote-unquote a straightforward execution stage. Not a whole lot to explain if you haven't already seen throughout this. I'm going to impact across this room, and we can also use bounce in certain situations to clear paths ahead of us where torch might not be as effective, so you will see that happening from a mod now and again as well. Again, there's the iframe of use that you can use to get impact through those lasers without taking any damage. You do get a bit of extra distance. I haven't talked about that. If you haven't noticed, when you have the power gear activated, you do go a little bit farther. And that's sort of one of the things that a mod is constantly negotiating throughout this run is the ammo management. Because it does consume more to use your gears, your what do you call them? Effects, I guess. So depending on what drops a mod is getting throughout the course of the run here. A little bit unfortunate there. That is probably going to make this cycle a bit awkward. Never mind.
It's okay. I kind of had to, since I used extra coil, I had to do something else to save it.
Alright, so we just fire bounce, and then, yeah, that one's basically done as far as mini bosses go. Bounce to the face, and then move on. But yeah, like, a mod's constantly deciding on the fly here whether or not to use a power impact or a regular impact based on not only the distance he has to traverse, but his experience with the run and how much ammo that he has. And so it's a surprisingly cerebral run in that aspect to constantly be keeping track of your coil ammo, your jet ammo, and your impact ammo in particular, and refilling them as necessary as you go through the stage. So here's Fuse. We're going to open up with a power bounce instead of a power tundra, and then we're going to follow it up with 3 power buster shots. A little bit of use of coil there to get the necessary height midair for the shots and the timing. Excellently done. Alright, so again, if it's a Mega Man game, it needs to have a water stage. Just like it needs to have an ice stage. Technically not a water stage, it's an acid stage, but it has water elements to it, so...
Almost.
We'll call it a water stage. Sorry, I had to cough there to clear my throat. Alright, so Torch and Bounce is going to be used quite heavily throughout the course of this stage, as we're going to be clearing paths ahead of us, as well as using some block ammo to clear a path. Some little pre-fires there. As you can see, he set up Torch into the Bounce to effectively clear about a screen and a half to 2 screens there. And then Power as he's coming up in there with the block to clear the first half, and then as he's swinging through the second half as well, dropping down. Again, mini bosses are not going to be too much of a concern here. I'll just talk about that real quick because it's coming up shortly. We're going to Power Block to open up, and then Tundra, Bounce, Block, Tundra. Alright? So that's Block Man to Tundra to Bounce to Block to Tundra. And a mod's going to be flicking through all of that super quick.
Actually, this is a newer strat.
Oh, you've updated it. Okay.
Yeah, power block, followed by 2 power bounces. Yeah, power bounces and power block. So there's no tundra needed.
Alright.
Almost
so
the same
long
thing.
horizontal room means, yeah, it does the job.
Yeah.
Long horizontal rooms means impact, which means we also refill off the weapon tank. And we get 2 long horizontal rooms in succession here, which is one of the reasons why the route changed to go talk to our friend Wool and navigate that. A little bit of a spooky dash there across the spikes, especially when you're new to the game. The spikes are one-hit kills, but unfortunately concern for a mod. Nice little jump there up into a coil boost to get through to the ladder and up through the spike section. That slide right before the spikes into the jump terrifies me every time I see you do it. I swear. Alright, so we're going to open up with a power block against Acid Men. 2 power buster shots fired, followed by 2 power blocks. And we're just going to absolutely delete this boss in short order. Very nicely done. And with that, we have completed our first 8 stages of the run. And we're going to be moving on to Wily. And Wily 1, if you're interested in picking up this game, I'm going to forewarn you, it is going to be very terrifying, because Wily 1 is effectively the Pits of Doom squared, Esquire. And it's not fun to learn, but it is extremely fun to execute. It is going to be your first, well, like, I suppose, first in quotes, major reset point. Once you start to get really comfortable with the run in general, you get far into a run, and this is going to be the stage it's probably going to do you in. But It is very fun to execute because we are clearing some of these rooms with some power blocks, impact into a coil mid-air because we're just having fun with that. And this is where the pits begin. You're supposed to drop onto those little turning gears, and then they decide that they don't like you, and so some of them will drop. And of course they change your momentum as well when you're on them, depending what direction you're spinning. It's a nightmare casually, but we just tap on them if necessary at all, and then impact, and you don't have to worry about it. But it is very precise. You do have to manage your impact distance, and when you're going to be using power impact versus regular impact. Right there, power, right as you enter the swing, you're much more to be able to land on that second gear as a primary example of exactly what we need to do for that. And yeah, so of course there's going to be a spike pitfall room, because why not? It is a Mega Man game. We would need to have that. And rush coil, jet, sorry, once again, allowing us to boost our way to the top of the screen, in which we impact our way through the horizontal section. This screen right there took me an hour, casually. I swear, it was the toughest. I think this game took me maybe 8 hours to beat, and one of those hours was on that screen. Ridiculous. Alright, Yellow Devil. We're going to do 4 mines, and then we're going to Z-boost 3 Yellow Devil to place 4 mines on the wall, and then jump up and power blast in the base. If the mod misses this, it is a major time loss. There's Z-boost. Oh no. Alright, so now you gotta wait for the tiny devils to run around.
Should be fine. Yeah, we got the backup.
Okay. Slip off on the wall and get a little blast in the middle of the air there. But it's not something you want to see happen on a run, that's for sure. Okay, when I say major time loss, like aside from a death, a major time loss in this game is like 5 to 15 seconds. Because you have to wait on a cycle. Alright, this stage is impossible to explain, so I'm not even going to try. It's Wily 2, and I'm not just going to execute it. It's going to be amazing. Hungry, do you have anything that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I can tell you all a little bit about the organization today that we are supporting with donations, which is NAMI. It is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. NAMI provides advocacy, education, support, and public awareness so that all individuals and families affected by mental illness can build better lives. NAMI envisions a world where all people affected by mental illness live healthy, fulfilling lives supported by a community that cares. And you can read more about NAMI by visiting NAMI.org, but do that after this run is done. It's very exciting.
See, the real reason that I asked you to jump in there is because I needed to definitely take a sip of water. So, tons of weapon switching going on here. This is probably one of the most reactive stages based on the drop RNG that you get for your impact refills. And Ahmad, I don't even know how he manages this in his big brain of his to just negotiate what he needs to do and where based on the drop RNG is getting, particularly given how long this stage is, how much coil use you have to use, and how much impact you use. Swapping between them to get the refills is necessary.
No! Jesus. Oh, nice.
Ahmad? Ahmad, that's a wall.
That is a wall.
This is Wily stage, not Wally stage. Alright, this boss, ideally, I believe we're still going for 3 impacts, and we're going to open with 2 bounce. When you hit this guy, his mouth opens basically, and then we want to take a damage boost to get the impact in there, another bounce to manipulate basically his opening and closing into another power impact, close it out. Very nicely done.
Shame about that ending there. Otherwise, that was such a good Wally too.
It was. That's alright. It's a marathon. What is a marathon run without spaghetti?
Exactly.
Alright, so as per normal with Mega Man games, Wily 3 is your refight stage after a bit of navigation through some of the territory here. We are largely, let's see here, going to have 4 of the bosses, about half of them. are going to be pretty much the same as you saw in the original fights. Impact is going to be a little bit different because we can open up the Tundra. But other than that, which is the Tundra into the 3 Power Busters. Again, we're trying to avoid the gear phase here because it is a 15-ish second time loss. No! Yeah, so this is what happens, is that you get like the 4-second animation there, and then he jumps around a couple times before he reappears back. That's okay. As easy as Ahmad has been making this run look, it is exceptionally difficult to get all of these things, and especially in a marathon setting, so like, it's totally fun. It's DLC content, that's what.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so bounce, second verse, same as the first on this one. Impact in, jump power shot into another impact, and done like dinner. We are choosing the stages basically based on the way that we want to navigate that little pod room there. Otherwise, there's no particular order that you have to do other than what's fastest traversing that room. Acid Man, second verse, same as the first, once again on that. Power block, power buster, 2 power block. Then we go on to Blockman. Power Thunder open. No, sorry. We do it a little bit differently with, just slightly differently with the fight here. We do the bounce open and the blasts. Coil up, and time the mines into the power shot finish.
Yeah, the refight starts with a power bounce, which is so much harder than the Tundra opening.
You're electrons. Alright, bounce opener again here on Fuse, a couple power shots, and then boil up to the middle of the stage, another power shot. And Tundra is going to be our first major shift.
Yeah.
In how we fight these bosses. Because we do now have Tundra's weakness, which is Fuse. So we're going to use Power Fuse down, followed by up, into Buster, into another Fuse. And we're timing it basically so that the fuses as they're navigating around the room there. We position ourselves so that we get maximum damage. Torch, second to last, Power Thunder opener to a Charge Buster, followed by Normal Thunder and a Power Thunder.
Jerk gave me the dive kick pattern.
One more refight to go, and then we'll be coming up on the end of the run. Wily 4, of course, next. Big ol' alien to fight. So this is going to be a Charge Buster, Torch, Charge Buster, and Power Surge. If I recall. Flash and dead. Even the enemies in this game like to make puns. Alright, on to Wily 4. The most important part of doing a marathon run of Mega Man 11 is to make sure that as you, just go through this first door here, and then you have to do a little bit of navigation, climb up the shaft. You need to spam Torch, because if you don't do it, your run's not verified, and then we'd have to do it all over again.
Absolutely. And bounce. Definitely bounce as well.
I remember when this was on Breaker Record, you guys had bounces here verifying that you weren't doing any cheating shenanigans. Alright, so for Wily, we are going to have a blast open into Acid Barrier for the first phase, basically. If you like face tanking, this boss is definitely for you. Because that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to coil up into his face with the Acid Barrier, and then just do that again. And he goes down. I guess what we get to do for the second phase here. What's that? Acid Barrier to the face?
Yes.
Oh.
I got
Oh,
baited
no.
by Mr. Wily here.
Yeah, this pattern is difficult. It goes
Time.
up to the top, and it's a bit of a nightmare, but that's time. GG.
That was 33-33 by my live split.
Yeah, I think I accidentally baited whoever was on the timer here. My bad.
It's okay. That was a really good run, though. That is such
Yeah.
a good time for this category and game.
And,
Unbelievable.
and you get the meme time as well. 33,
Yeah.
33.
All threes.
Could it go any better than that? I don't think it can. This has been Mega Man 11. My name has been Shafe. That has been a mod. I want to thank you guys for doing this. A lot of us are suffering with mental illness and depression, anxiety, and a bunch of other stuff, obviously. And the stigma that you guys are working to battle towards with this event is something that's close to my heart. I'm really appreciative of all that you guys have been doing behind the scenes. All of you in chat, whether or not you're donating or just showing up to support the cause and hang out with some friends. Really appreciate having you all here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you as well from me. That was such an awesome run. I'm super happy about that. Thank you, Speedrun Hall of Fame, for having me, of course. Keep donating for the good cause. Awesome cause, just like Chafee said. If you want to see more Mega Man action, I'm mostly a Mega Man runner, but I've been doing some modern stuff. Well, 11 is pretty modern, but retro stuff usually. But yeah, if you want to watch me, I'll be on twitch.tv/Ahmad, and Chafee is on twitch.tv/Chafee, right?
Yep, and I am an Ori speedrunner, Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah.
The base game run and randomizer runs as well.
Yeah, I guess that's it for us. Good luck for the rest of the runners. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, and a big thank you again to our runner and commentator. What a wonderful run to watch. It's great to see that Mega Man has maintained that much great momentum and flair all the way from the very first entries in the series all the way out to the most recent entry in that series. And I think that the two of them nailed it quite well, and especially including the mention of people in chat here being here to support friends. That has been, I know for a lot of people, a great, wonderful, and necessary outlet during the last couple of years, and all that they have, of course, brought our way. So a big shout out to everybody who's taken time out of their weekend, even a little bit, to be here with us this weekend to support this wonderful cause, and all of the runners and each other, of course. So that's it actually for me for today. We're about to have a host changeover. Cutie Roo will be joining you all to see you through part of the afternoon, with others popping in later on down the road. So thank you so much to the Speedrun Hall of Fame for having me on. This is going to be my last shift, and I very much appreciate being a part of this. All the best to all of the runners. Keep sending those donations in, folks, and let's see if we can crack some more milestones throughout the day. And I'll catch you around in the Twitchverse. Until next time, bye for now.